Go.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Maybe someone will show up.
Double fisting.
Mm.
Like it. 2 drinks.
If only had more hands.
Hello.
Pathetic third arm.
It normally tells you if there's anyone there. There's no one here yet, I think.
Woo. But this stays on there forever, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
rattles
There's always,
around,
there's
thinking,
always,
like, what's
yeah, there's
all
always the
over
front bit
again.
of like, oh, I wonder if anyone. Hey, there's someone. There's someone.
No!
They made it.
It's been more.
Wow.
Hello, one person.
Hey, Mum.
Yeah.
Oh, 2. That's your
Oh,
mum.
2.
Oh, 3. Well, we've got all the mums on this.
Hello. All 3 people. Oh, 2 people. Oh, we lost them.
Oh.
We're just going to wait a couple of minutes. 5 people,
5.
just to see if anyone turns up.
Why aren't you downtown drinking?
7.
Ask us a question.
We could actually start.
Do it now.
So, who are you?
Tim. People
Why
call
are
me
you in
Tim.
my house?
This is your house?
No. You're Tim Prow.
Yes, I am.
What
Diamond
do you do?
Miniatures.
What
we
does
got?
Die Hard Miniatures do? Oh, they went.
Someone you know.
Yes!
Lots of stuff. Old hammer kind of stuff from back in the day.
What did you do back in the day?
Painted
That's
lots of
That's
things.
great.
Yeah, 89 to 93 Games Workshop as a figure painter. Then learnt my sculpting skills from Perry's and Jazz, and then and went on from there, freelancing and stuff. So yeah.
And now you run Die Hard.
Yes, finally working for myself instead of for lots and lots of other people.
Do you do just Die Hard, or do you do any other work?
I still freelance, yes. I'm still doing it for other people.
What sort of companies?
Mias, Reaper, hopefully soon again. We've had a little Bad Squid. Oh yes, I've done
You did
some stuff
brilliant
for you.
elves.
Oh, brilliant elves! Thank you very much.
Ah.
Yeah. So
People know who you are.
yeah, lots of
It's more than I'm going to
love still out there.
Is the people that are watching, is the audio and everything working okay? We'll find out there. Oh, Hubbard's here.
Hubbard in the house.
Hello, Ross.
Hello.
What do you do?
I drink beer. Do you want your drink?
Doesn't he do?
Yeah.
I also sculpt. I'm an aspiring.
Yay, there's people.
Oh.
Look, I've got 12 people.
Awesome.
And it doesn't auto scroll down, so we
They're-
have to scroll.
They're all listing what you do too.
Who are you, Ross Whitehorn?
I'm Ross White. No, I'm actually Ross Hubbard.
Oh,
Mm.
brother of Neil.
Yeah.
Ah,
I like it.
Good.
it's all coming out.
Good. Yes, I run Krakon Games, or it runs me.
What does Krakon Games do?
Mushroom people and gnomes and
Mm.
slugs and not as many snails as I'd like to do.
You
But
more
other people like my
snails.
snails.
Do you just work for yourself, or do you do commissions?
No, I do commissions as well.
Who do you do
You know,
commissions
for you. For you.
What? Who am
And
I?
various other people.
Various stuffs. Cool. And I'll scroll that so I can actually see.
Why doesn't it auto scroll?
I know. Yay, the audio is good and looking
Metal.
like the most metal.
Cut my hair, that's why.
And this is
Drink beer
on
and no things.
Bad Squiddo, so
Rum.
you probably know I'm Annie, who runs Bad Squiddo Games.
Huzzah. What do you
And
do?
I don't know. Help me. Help. I make female miniatures that have clothes on and guinea pigs that have
Awesome.
rockets on.
Realistic running.
Yes. And
The 40th
so,
century.
yes.
41st. Was it 42nd now? God. Who knows?
There's a lot of
Who
centuries.
knows? Or 30th, yes.
So we are here this evening to generally, as Neil has
Chill
said, drink a beer and know things. So we
Rum.
have rum.
Mm.
Ross has beer.
I'll just about run out.
And yes, so any questions, pop them in the side and we will address them.
Mm.
And there were a number of questions that were asked before, which I will get to while these two fill the silence.
Huzzah! Take it away, Ross.
What are you working on at the moment, Ross?
I'm working on this lovely pint of Guinness Foreign Extra. Actually, while I'm working,
Oh yeah, you could
Uh-oh.
show.
this might upset the person I'm sculpting
camera.
for.
Oh, don't say who it's for. If you hold it right up, it'll focus in theory.
Ooh.
Why aren't we
See?
mirrored properly? It's a snail.
Bring up the question.
I should print myself actually.
Hmm?
Here's
Yeah, put that fella
Does
up.
anyone know who? It's not a fella. It's got boobs.
Lady fella.
What?
Fella with boobs.
Hi, Anita.
I'm not drunk. It's in reverse.
No, put a hand behind it and it focuses.
Ah.
Magic.
No, it's still not focused. Yeah, that,
Lie.
It's so small.
that last live video we did was just pretty much me going. Yes, I'll just bring up some of the questions, but yes, keep putting more questions in the sides, even though it's not auto-scrolling. Tim, what are you working on at the moment?
Some stuff for Miss.
Is it a secret?
It probably is a secret. It's a secret, and also I've forgotten what they are. Kind of lizard people. Doing some conversions. Also having lots of ideas for the next Kickstarter for October chaos stuff. So yeah, I'm very tempted to do that, but it's not going to pay me until like December, so I should really not do that yet. So I get in trouble. Wife will kill me.
Oh, Karina.
How many Kickstarters have you run? That's a question from me.
Oh, it'll be the 5th one this year. 5 Kickstarters.
In how long?
In 5 years. I do one a year because I'm a one-man band, and it really is hard to just do it, promote it, sculpt it, paint it, process it, ship it, get the caster to do the castings, molding, blah blah blah. So yes, it's very hard.
It
and
is.
freelance as well at the same time.
Yes, I find it hard, and I don't sculpt them, so I'll paint them.
I know how hard it is. I do one a month.
It's craziness.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's only a handful of models.
Our first question comes from Neil Hubbard.
Ooh.
Who's this one?
To Ross Whitehorn.
Right.
Tell us why you spell Krakon wrong.
I don't spell it
Uh-oh. The Greek spelt it wrong. Damn it.
Yeah, I feel like I post this once a year. One of these FAQs where no one actually asks you the question frequently, but you like making a point of it. I started out wanting to do a Slavic mythology style range of miniatures. So you've got things like the Rusalka and Baba Yaga and so on. And there's a bunch of mountains in, I think it's a Czech Republic, called the Krakon Rose Mountains. And I shortened that to Krakon. And yeah, I was doing a couple of factions. One was going to be sort of water spirits called the Wodjanodges, which is a lovely name. And the others were sort of leshies and druids and sort of forest people. And I got some concept art done. This is around 5 years ago. But I couldn't sculpt for toffee, so that didn't go anywhere. But now I can sculpt to some extent.
Sculpt for chips now.
I was doing out some old pictures, and I came across the old concept art, and it's like, I should probably do something with these since I paid money for this. And it is really decent concept art, and it's a lovely bit of folklore, I suppose. But there is quite a lot of links between Irish mythology and Slavic mythology. There's actually a chap who is half and half, and he posts a lot about that. And it's got me thinking, because I do at the minute all Irish sort of stuff. That's the perfect way to connect them in my own way as well. So, but who doesn't want a Baba Yaga hut in Ireland? Yeah.
So yeah, you didn't spell it wrong.
No.
And that's why your group's called Crooked Nose.
Yeah, but then I rolled with it by putting tentacles in my logo and stuff.
That brings me on. I'm gonna scroll down and be proper. Orm Embar says, ask Ross where his tentacle fascination came from.
Where does anyone's tentacle fascination come from?
Tell me about your mother.
It's
What was those questions, sir?
it's going to have to be Lovecraft, isn't it? Everyone likes a bit of Cthulhu and friends.
Oh, we should have brought the squid fingers.
My cat murdered mine this morning.
Oh yeah.
I sent you a video of him going, but there we go. It's the only thing he seems to respond to.
Jamie Tranter there says, oh, I've just noticed we've got 19 people. That's pretty good. It's like we've got 19 friends.
23.
What, 23?
That's our friends and their mothers.
When will we see believable female chaos warriors riding mighty snails? That'd be a good all three, because we did a believable female Chaos Warrior.
And I do
And you did a
snails.
snail.
No, I do slugs. Although I've just
yeah,
been
you have
waving
to show me
snails
Chaos.
at everyone.
Just have to mate them together in this night.
They don't mate. You put it on the back.
Mutate.
Mutate. No, yes.
Mate.
Couple more rums and it
So
might happen.
yeah, maybe
mutate.
maybe by the end of the evening there will be something.
Although I didn't bring all screen stuff.
So I guess for everyone, we'll start Tim because he's
Hello.
hello. What is your favourite model in your range? Something that really made you zing from Ashley Sanford. Zing.
Zing. I don't know. Maybe the latest limited edition Clint, the Marshall.
Oh yes.
Because
He's the header picture on your thing.
Yeah. Johan Egerkrans. He's amazing artist, and I got him at much expense to do one piece of art for me for last year, and it was really nice. And I sculpted the figure just before Christmas, and it came out really nice. And I painted it a couple of weeks ago.
He's the guy with the little dog.
Yes, with the dog.
Yeah.
It's very Scooby-Doo-ish.
He's
but,
Robo-Doge.
Yeah, Robo-Scoop.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the latest
like
one.
him.
I'm
He
really
is cool.
happy about. Yeah.
I guess you kind of get. There's probably older things that when you think back,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
new, you get more excited about each new thing.
It keeps flowing.
Yeah.
It keeps. Yeah, there are certain. I mean, the Ember, the wood elf archer, she was just a wood elf archer, but it turned out really nice, and then it painted up really well.
Yes.
So, yeah,
It's cool.
exciting stuff.
Ross.
My favourite mod in my range?
Yeah.
I haven't made it yet.
Oh. Are you going to tell them?
That I don't do favourites.
Oh.
But there are models I like. I like my my troll mother, not just because it's topless, just awesome. It was a bit of a milestone for me to push to spend a bit more time to push out a nicer sculpt, because a lot of them are just sort of
Don't tell them.
finished not perfect, as people like to say. But now I've spent a bit more time on that, and I enjoyed. It's quite often most of the time you sculpt stuff and you're never quite happy with it, so it always makes you try to do better each time.
Learning curve, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's
stop.
that's one of the few I can sit and say I like that model, and I like showing it off on a painting. But a lot of them it's done. There we go. Next.
My favourite model.
Oh.
I actually, I have lots of favourites, but I actually really like the one that Tim Prow made me. She's so cool.
Woohoo!
Yes,
The
Adira, the
Chaos
Chaos Warrior. Yeah,
Mm.
she's so cool. She's like perfect. And Kate, who is watching, did the concept art.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of snail love going on. You've riled them up. You're gonna have to show the people that have just joined the snails. But yeah, Kate did the.
I kind of show these, but free marketing home.
Oh,
no, the other way.
no, that
Hey,
way.
there's a camera. It's all in reverse.
Oh, casualty.
It's okay. It's okay.
It bounces.
But yeah, that Chaos Warrior, there was kind of, I gave Kate lots of words and lots of words of what not to do, and then she did a really cool concept piece that then I passed to you, and then it was just perfect. Even though I joked that it had to have underboob as a clear joke, and then you replied a bit later with like, well, what sort of underboob would you like? No underboob.
I was confused. I thought, man, it's not like
They normally ask for underboob.
Annie wouldn't want that. She's tricking me.
That one and the Fulan Devi miniatures I really, really like, because of the story behind them, and I like educating people about who Fulan Devi was. And if you don't know who Fulan Devi was, look her up, because she's very cool. I want to scroll just to make sure it's people.
Like your undead monitor.
Ah,
Very good.
Hi,
I
Ralph.
also own because it's lovely.
Richard
just
Long
checking.
in America.
I love
Who's
his
our
stuff.
first artist, and he's really awesome.
He loves. He does all the Lovecraft stuff, doesn't
Yeah, he loves tentacle stuff, and it was really nice to work from. It's a very detailed piece of artwork, and all the armor, even the armor, had little Minotaur kind of scully things going on, and it was. It's one of those things where you can sculpt from a piece of artwork, and you can reduce what's there and still come out with an awesome thing. It's, there's too much information there.
I like Minotaurs.
Oh.
Show them.
It's
Show
the wrong
them.
arm. It's the
No,
wrong
you
arm.
can't.
Move it in, move
You
it
can
in.
get in, Tim.
Oh.
Likes
He
Minotaur.
likes Minotaurs.
What we got? Anyone planning 20mm stuff? I guess it's not very popular. I shouldn't hold that right
How
next to
tall's
me.
this?
He might be 20mm.
He could be 15.
I'm definitely not
Alright.
planning
That could be
20mm.
15.
This will be here.
I think that's 15.
I will be sticking at 28mm
Could be
for the
20.
near future. Who knows in the far future? But
He's got
oh,
a snail on
don't
his
drop
ruler.
the snail off.
Is it 20?
No, well, he's 20.
15?
To the eyes.
To the
it's
eyes.
17.
Mm.
Tricky word.
And it's a she.
Mm.
Female Trollin.
Nice.
Are you doing any 20mm stuff?
My familiars are mostly 20mm.
We're all at a bit of a stretch. None of us are doing 20.
No,
Our
no,
28mm
no,
models
I
at
do-
the
I
shop.
do have-
For 20mm scale gaming,
no.
you know what are you?
No.
They're just small.
I've
They're just
My
28mm and
succubus is
small.
20mm.
She is a
For some-
lovely miniature.
Yeah, she is.
What else have we got? Flying Spaghetti Monster is ace. Want one? That's like the video's in reverse, which is confusing
It
us
is
all.
weird.
We're not drunk.
That way.
But that guy,
That
yeah,
way.
yeah, he does a really cool Flying Spaghetti
Oh, I
Monster.
did the noodler, as they called it.
Great snails, but can we get a giant slug?
Ooh. We have a giant slug. You bought all my stock.
Oh, you can get- yeah, Krakon Games do a very good giant slug, but I bought him out of them all, so you can get them from Bad Squiddo Games.
Oh, you can buy them tomorrow from
Or-
my stand. I've heard.
or tomorrow we will be, me and Ross will be at Robin trade show in Nottingham. It'll be Ross's stand with me just
Selling my
heckling.
stuff.
No, you can have. That'd just be weird.
Pimping it
There's
out.
there's a very small amount of Bad Squiddo things. Mike Jarvis in the comments. Are you coming tomorrow? What else? Kraken do a giant slug. Thank you, Neil Hubbard.
Mhm.
Oh no.
Sure it
Anita, any info on the order? I can't check right now, but it's probably this week. It's been very chaotic, and there's been lots and lots of orders because of the clearance sale.
And rum.
So there's not been any rum this week. But I have seen your email, and I just hadn't had a chance to have a proper look at it. There's just been loads of orders and not enough time, or Annie, and lots of other things going on.
You went to 4-digit orders.
4-digit order.
Yeah.
I know that too.
Oh. Yeah, sorry about that if it's not gone out, but we'll get it sorted. I've just, run out of hours in the day, but it'll be sorted early next week. Any other questions? Yay, Mike is coming tomorrow. I have the backup questions here whilst this is question for Tim and Ross.
Uh-oh.
Start, Tim. What ratio of the figures you sculpt are of subjects you want to sculpt compared to the figures you sculpt for others? So I guess he means how many are for Die Hard, how many for commission,
Oh, right. Yeah.
rather than
Rather than what you want to sculpt.
sculpt.
It depends when the Kickstarter's coming in. When the old Kickstarter's going out, and I'm getting to the shipping point, I'm still very much freelance. But then, say mid-year onwards, you really need to be starting to sculpt your own stuff for the funding level figures at least. So it's roughly about 75% freelance,
Wow.
25 for Die Hard. But then when it starts ramping up for Die Hard, then the last few months before October, it's completely Die Hard. It's
When you do your Kickstarters.
it's
They're
usually
always
October.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
every single
Just
one's been October.
One a year in
Yeah.
October.
And it runs. I mean, it's nice because it finishes just before Christmas, and then I leave the books open until January, so it just helps people save up for those extra last figures.
For the pledge manager
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
How long do you generally take to fulfill your Kickstarters?
It's usually around April. I've given it till June this time, just in case
So that's pretty good.
things came up.
So they're all sort of neatly wrapped up, and then the next
Yeah. Well, I
some
mean,
freelancing.
well, the production molds are being made at the moment by Pete Brown, the mold man, and he's really good. So yeah, the production molds are being made now, and then I'll start shipping, hopefully in a couple of months. I might have a little bit of stock to take to Salute, which I'm potentially going to be at, hopefully.
Have you found anyone to hang on
Yes,
to
there
the
is a
standoff
victim.
yet?
There is a
Is it who
victim.
I think it is?
Yes, I think
Okay,
so. Yeah.
Maybe he's watching.
Yeah,
Although
he
he would have
could
told me.
In
I haven't
America.
seen him
Is he in
lately.
America
Oh,
at the moment, or is he? Does he live in England? I
don't know. Oh no! I thought
No.
we were talking about someone else.
Somebody else.
Yes, yes.
No.
He
Yes.
does live in America.
Yes.
So, oh, that'd be cool.
But there'll be more news about that later on.
Vagary.
Yeah, it's still very early stages, so I don't want to promise anything. But yeah, I'll try.
That'd be cool.
Be my second salute where I've sold something.
Yeah.
So,
Salute's the best.
yeah.
I've got a question.
Uh-oh.
Roughly, on average, knowing that it goes up and down, how many sculpts do you do a month?
I try and do 2 a week. 2 28mm figures a week.
Do you do them in batches, or do you do a single model, then a single model?
You work in batches because while one's drying, then you'll be working on the next one. So 3 is the magic number. You can have 2 drying while you're working on one, and then the first one will be drying. So you can just keep swapping round and round. So yeah, batches are good.
A whole bench of them.
And if they're in the same genres, I hate working for different customers and having different figures in that. So right, you're working on a 28mm, and then all of a sudden you're working on a 100mm, and it's like your
Some
head.
are like heroic
It's like,
or
yeah,
not.
one's heroic, and then the other one isn't, and then one's sci-fi, and the other one's fantasy, and I like just focusing on one kind of thing. Yeah, exactly, and just focusing straight through.
Ross.
Mine's utterly different, to be honest.
Whilst you scroll, see what's happening there.
Most of my own stuff generally is quite small or quite simple or cartoony, especially when it comes to the mushroom people. Whereas my commissions are larger monsters. The stuff I do for Shed Games are all sort of dungeon creatures, which are a lot bigger. So they obviously take a lot longer than a gnome would take. So it's time-based. It's almost 50-50. But quantity of figures, it's a lot less on that side. Some of my Kickstarters, I'll churn out 20 figures in a month. I do churn them out.
So you're kind of the opposite.
Putty,
You do more. You do more for Krakon than for commission.
Quantity-wise, yeah. Time-wise, it's about even.
Yeah.
Because I'll spend a lot more on a commission, especially if I enjoy it. But that comes back to the original question. I don't like doing humans or humanoid figures, but the people I do commissions for have sort of latched onto that. Robin last year was good for me because people came over and went, I like that, do me stuff like that. And obviously stuff on my shelves is not characters, not humans. It's tentacle aliens and dragons and stuff,
aliens.
which is great because that's what I like to sculpt. And the last 2 I did for Shed Games was like a moss shambler and a big gate door mimic thing. And I love that because I can just sit doing texture for ages and really enjoy doing that. Whereas doing a character, I just don't enjoy that quite as much.
Is it because you haven't had as much experience doing people?
That's one thing, yeah.
You just don't want to do it?
But it's the same with gaming. I've always steered away from human armies. I've never done normal things. I've always like undead or monsters. So it's to some extent, yeah, that's my preference in it. And when people see that I've put the passion into these weird monsters, they go, well, I'd like you to do something like that for me. So I get to do commissions that I enjoy for the most part. Yeah. But then I say, I don't want to do anything smaller than that.
And then I hire you to do stuff smaller than that.
Between you and Macrocosm, you're just like, oh.
It's like, can you do something really,
but that's
really
more
small?
Limitations of, not my sight, but my hands. It's like trying to bend armature that size is really awkward. So I'd rather do a big gribbly or a random mass with Dr. Texture on it. So I've enjoyed doing the snails, the shambler, and so on.
It's a secret, but it's not a secret anymore. Ross has done one of the things Ross has been doing, not just this. There's been plates for me at 28mm.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Ross, there's no more small things. Like, can you do fairies and plates and little cups?
How do I do the armature for this? It's probably too small to need an armature.
If it's in resin, you don't.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
You don't need it.
Time based.
Yeah, little fillies. Tim. Oh no, wait, not you yet. Oh, what is your favourite skirmish level rule set? From Paolo. Yes, to all of us. Tim!
I I don't game. I've not.
Pretend. One
I
that you can sell your
pretend.
minis with.
Well, when I used to play test at Games Workshop, well, probably Frostgrave. Anything that I produce fantasy-wise, I like to be able to physically see it being played in Frostgrave. And obviously, Roguestar is the other sci-fi version where I like to see some of the miniatures. And I love 2000 AD and I love Star Wars, and if I can amalgamate these kind of things and put them out there, it seems to be sci-fi's on the up at the moment.
Those sort of sandboxy games. That's
Yeah.
where Osprey are really
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
where you can
Yeah.
use the figures.
And you have a small team, and they can be aliens or they can be humans, but they've got a mishmash of armor and stuff and different weapons. Yeah, I find that really cool. I really enjoy that kind of stuff.
I think my favourite skirmish game is Freebooter's Fate. Because I've been talking about this a couple of days ago, because I share an office with Needy Cat Games, and we were generally talking about stuff. Freebooters isn't as big in the UK as it should be. I really like it.
Yeah.
It's a pirate game, so you're on like a 3x3 or 2x2, and you've just got your little pirate gang. And you duel.
Verniclock stuff's
Yeah.
really, really nice.
And you can go into, so if you use like the foreground buildings, the Fabled Realm stuff, and a really nice map, it just looks really good. And when stuff looks really good.
Yeah.
And you can shoot people in the dick. That is the best.
On the deck or the
Dick.
in
On
the dick?
Yeah.
In the dick.
Well,
not
it
on the
says
deck.
abdomen,
Damn.
but there's cards that you can get, and if anyone watching has played Freebooters, they'll know what I mean.
What's winking in German?
No.
Winkle?
Wiener.
Wiener. I like it.
I don't think.
No.
But yeah,
Ignorance.
you can basically the part of the core
Maybe we'll
mechanics
find
is
someone
that
comment.
someone will comment. There are new comments, but it doesn't auto scroll, so we'll
Awesome.
see the comments
Yes,
in a
we
minute.
will. We'll come back to it.
But yes, you can choose what part of the body you target,
That's
and
cool.
they choose what they defend. So obviously, like the heart and the head, they always
The
defend. So you
vitals,
kind
yeah.
of shoot off arms, and then they can't shoot you back and stuff. But if you're me,
Nice.
just keep shooting people in the dick, abdomen. But there's a little diagram of a goblin, and on the abdomen, he is going, "Ooh, hide it, hide it." It's definitely the dick. Ross,
I am a
what's your
gamer.
favourite skirmish game?
I like to keep up to date with everything that's going on with new rule sets, but
Pretend you game.
I do.
currently, fantasy wise, I like Mantic's Vanguard because we play a lot of Kings of War at our club, so it was natural to use the fantasy models for it. And also, when it comes to stuff like goblins, it's really difficult to collect an entire goblin army, whereas for Vanguard, you only need a dozen models, so that's great. I don't need hundreds of models. Science fiction wise, I almost said 40k wise, terrible. Rogue Stars. I also like Necromunda, but it's difficult getting my local players to actually play the thing. There's like 3 of us that really, really want to play it.
Are any of them watching? You could.
Maybe. Might be Jacob there. Hi, Jacob. Probably not though. Yeah, that's my Necromunda pool. But yeah, it's difficult to get to. We've got the gangs and we like playing it when we can, but it's like there's only so many times you can play the same person with the same game without getting bored of it.
Do kind of the same moves on each other.
The Rogue Size is good. The reason I still buy random sort of science fiction figures is to play that occasionally. I've got your Slan chap with the hound,
Yes,
and
awesome.
yeah, a few of yours, a few of mine, all the sort of lizardy Slan people for that. But it's good just to go, I've got these random things that don't fit an army. Great for a skirmish game.
Yes.
But
that whole Osprey thing of use what you've got. It's good.
At the moment, I've been leaning more on board games, which is terrible. But
It's not terrible.
when it comes to miniatures, Kings of War is my thing. So whenever I do fantasy armies, I'm always trying to do it in 10s, 20s, and so on, or things that will fit into the army list for Kings of War.
Is that partially so you can use them?
So I can use, I can't afford to buy an army. I'll sculpt one at great expense instead, and hope other people have the same on it.
Well, and then they fund the thing that you want to do. So.
It's always great to hear what
It's not
people
like a
use
queen.
my models for, because I do such niche things or things that don't immediately go, oh, that's an elf. No, it's a mushroom man. What do we use that for? But yeah, see,
Rogue Stars.
people have used them for Rogue Stars.
Frostgrave's got a lot to answer for. Like,
Yeah.
oh, just use it for
But
Frostgrave
it's-
somehow.
The Dungeons and Dragons audience have picked up on the Myclings because they have Myconids, which made me think I should do more D&D stuff. So all the stuff with strange names are D&D things, not using the D&D names.
Yes.
But I have to be
Things
careful
that
with
could be
what.
used for the
Yeah,
but
exactly.
not
Pinterest
straight
comes
out.
up all the time,
Yes.
and it's D&D stuff, and it's like, oh, that's kind of a bit of
That's like
artwork.
Ross's sculpt, that
Oh,
does.
and then you get the stats, and then you get the information. Yeah, I could do one of those.
Exactly.
Change its name.
I spend
all
an
done.
hour down Pinterest research.
Yeah.
Yep. It's
Tim.
fantastic.
As an ex-GW painter,
Uh-oh.
clearly you've got some skills.
Have I? Yes.
Do you still enjoy it?
I do, and I don't. I do when it's something I really want to paint.
It's yours and mine.
Sure.
It's yours now. But sometimes it really is a job, and you need your figures painting to advertise it, and the only way to get it done properly and the way you want it done in time is to do it yourself. The only problem is that it takes time away from you sculpting and making money. But it's getting that medium of
Hot presser.
I find it worth it to
long
pay
term.
someone to do. I outsource as much as I can.
Ah,
If you paid
for money.
someone, your time is money. So the time
Yes,
that you
it
spend
is. It
painting the
is.
miniatures, as lovely as they are,
Yeah.
you could pay somebody who's also great to, if you gave them the rules, like a strict brief, they could do it whilst you were sculpting the next stuff.
But I just buy my room with my skills. Yeah. At the moment, I'm trying to do one figure a week. It's a new thing with Die Hard where I'll poll people and say, right, what do you want me to paint next month? And they'll get 4 choices to pick out of the whole batch, and then I will paint those figures. And
Do you
It's
find
gone
they
quite well so
sell
far.
more once you've painted them?
it's weird because if it's something that's on the web store, I have a web store.
What's your web store?
Yeah, diehard.com.
What?
Awesome. Dude, go now. But yeah, if it's in the store and I've painted it, then there'll be, it's Lemmy. I painted Lemmy the other day, the zombie Lemmy, and I sold about 10 or 11 of those during that week. I was like, oh, better restock.
So people can see what it could look like rather than
Yeah.
it's a lump of metal.
And sometimes the figure, you look at it, it's been blacked up and it looks okay, but you don't really see what it is. And then when it's been painted, people go, oh, it pops.
Yeah, it's the
It pops
potential.
out.
Definitely
Yeah,
should have
yeah.
been.
I had quite a few things
Yeah.
painted in the last week that were things that I just kind of missed out
Yeah.
from last week.
Yeah.
Last year. Went, oh, I never got around to painting them.
Yeah.
I'm like, people are like, when is this coming out? It's like, it's been out for ages.
It's been out for ages, damn it.
Yeah, it just kind of really
Yeah.
shows them off.
The-
But I've been doing a thing, the customer showcase. That's worked really well at getting people to send in
Yes.
so they can see the normal paint jobs that aren't from crazy good painters.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it puts people off. But when they can see how easy stuff paints
Yeah.
up and that you don't have to be a mega pro and they still look really nice, that's kind
Yeah,
of good.
exactly.
I do it for colour schemes and
Yeah.
things like that.
Because I get to see them because people PM me and send
Yeah.
stuff through, and I'm like, wow,
Share
that's really
them.
cool. Share it, send it out there, put
Share
it on
them, do customer
Old Hammer.
showcase. I'll give you the
Stick
license
it on
to do
there.
it.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
got
It's
David
lovely.
says medieval manuscripts for a period contain marginal drawings of combats between dismounted knights and snails.
Yes.
Is
Drew's been doing a lot of that.
The
though, hasn't he?
marginalia
For Thomas.
trend that
Yes.
suddenly started.
Yeah.
Also
rabbits
Antediluvian,
and stuff.
which is Andrew Taylor. Yeah. So Andrew Taylor's been doing a lot of the weird creatures and things from manuscripts, and Drew for somebody. So Drew was the sculptor.
Thomas.
but-
Crown.
Yeah.
Yes, Crown
But they were,
Miniatures,
there's one where
Yes,
there's
he's done
a
a
rabbit
Kickstarter
like
recently.
battering someone's death.
Yeah,
with
little
a
priest.
carrot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who beat the priest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
I
Loved it.
don't know what was happening in
But
the
it
past.
seems to have
It's
started
cool.
a trend because OS Minis have just started one.
Let's check.
Yeah.
There's nothing with nobody saying anything's terrible. Hey, Ristol is here. Hello. Yay.
He's watching.
Oh, yay.
That's my Necromunda player. Look.
Yay.
Jacob.
Ralph
He
says to
feels my
me,
pain.
when the dwarves and when are the dwarves, I think, and what's the secret range after them? Well, I'm not telling you because it's a secret. The dwarves,
I'll tell you.
the dwarves are going to be after Salute, which is after Brexit, so it's all a bit see what
could be
happens
interesting.
with them. But I've still got a few. I've still got some more. No, it's going to be fine.
It'll be fine. It will be fine.
Mine will be fine.
You're gonna ship them over yourself.
Mine won't.
Yeah,
No, it'll be fine.
I'm
Sneak
gonna
them
go on
over.
like a whole Euro trip and just take
Yeah.
it. That'd be a really good excuse.
Road trip.
Do a road trip to
Thomas,
Europe.
Annie, will there be more female ghouls like the two you've got in the store? Yes. They won't be as gory because a lot of people didn't like that what they're doing. So I'm sending
I won't charge
them.
you as much as Paul Model.
I'm sending them back. I'm sending no, damn sculptors.
Vermeer people love him.
I'm
Then
sending-
Vermeer are an interesting crowd.
Yeah.
I'm sending the original greens back to Paul to do some conversions on the original ones. I think they're going to be tearing apart some puppies instead. That's
puppy
nicer.
tearing. Can't they make kittens?
We'll make Paul
you
sad.
guys, no, Paul was
Yeah,
the one that
Paul's lovely.
suggested the dead babies.
So you're gonna make him do puppies?
Yeah, I guess that works better.
He's-
But yeah, more ghouls, but not tons of them. But seen
It's
as
not as bad as
I-
babies, maybe.
I do
You've only
own
male
the
ghouls.
biggest ghoul collection in the world.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah,
Where?
here.
Oh.
Yeah, it's here. Yeah, I collect ghouls, and I kind of ran out of
What's-
ghouls
what's
to
the
collect,
number then?
so I've got ghouls. I haven't
So,
actually
so
counted
no one
them.
can challenge you.
No.
Not.
Lots. I get.
Because I've got 50 gold.
No, they've got to be
Ooh.
singular, so
Oh,
different
different
types of
ones.
ghouls, not just massive
Ah.
ghouls.
So I've got 2 generations
Yeah,
of
no,
GW
no.
ones.
I never knew this
Got
about
the
you.
heresy
No.
ones.
Yeah.
And one day I might get
I'm trying to think if I've
Um,
made any ghouls.
no,
I don't
I've
think
got-
I have.
Any ghoul that has been made, I've
Wow.
got pretty much all of them. Just
I'll have to make
occasionally
some
when I pop up, yeah,
Dark
you'll get my
I will.
£5.
I will at some point, yeah.
So,
They are on the undead
I've got
list.
the first ghoul I had was from Andrew May, the Ghoul Queen, and she's in for Baz Widow.
Awesome.
She's in resin so that she can go on a big dragon. And I couldn't find a dragon, and then Fenris did the Kickstarter.
All right.
So I've now got my zombie dragon
Awesome.
that can go on it,
Very nice.
sculpted by Tim Prow.
Mm.
But of course I
The
got
whole
it.
Kickstarter was
I
like,
got it.
you with a little bit of Chaz, isn't it?
yeah. I got it.
Yeah.
Went, yep, I'll do that at some
Yeah,
point.
So I
But
think
yeah,
I
it's all
posted on
done
Die Hard. Here's my Tim Prow models from
Yeah.
We're on to
I did that ages ago. I sold it to Ian.
It's terrible.
I'd sculpted it while I didn't have any work on. And I showed it him, and he was like, "Oh, I must have that." And I was like,
I find that's the way
"Okay,
to
I'll
do
sell
it.
it to you."
It's a lot of people that
Yeah.
don't want to go, yeah, do me this. You just go, I've sculpted this. Do you want it? And they go, yeah.
Yeah. It's not many. I mean, it took me a month.
I need
It-
the loo. Gonna have to leave you
Yeah.
two.
It
Um,
took me about a month to
Talk-
sculpt
you
that.
should hold
So,
it.
We're gonna be here a while, folks.
yeah.
Talk
in that
robots.
case,
Talk robots.
talk robots.
Respective ranges. Oh, right. Yeah, I do some warbots. Yes, repurposed droids for the future people type thing. Yes, so I will make some more robots at some stage. It's just finding the time, really.
Do you like your robots?
Yeah,
We like your robots.
I like. I go through a cycle where I get fed up of making fleshy things, and I want to make something square and angular.
Are they? Because you use Procreate, don't you?
Uh-huh.
Is it better to do
Oh
robots?
God,
like that?
yeah.
But I've tried doing
It's
robotic
really
stuff
nice.
and green stuff. It's awful. It really is.
Procreate's really nice. I mean, even brown stuff, but that really dries rock hard.
Yeah.
So you've got to know what you're doing. And certainly when it gets sent off to get cast, because it can come back in pieces. Whereas Procreate, it's like green stuff, but it's harder and it holds its edges better, even during the drying
I've got a
process.
small spy, but it's already rock hard and trying to mix it. It's
Yeah.
a bit of a nightmare.
You certainly need warm hands, and the playtime is shorter with Procreate, so use smaller areas.
Mine's quite old though, because as soon as I get green stuff now, I freeze it in little
Yeah,
pieces.
everything goes in the
I wish
freezer.
I'd done that with my
Yeah.
Procreate, but I didn't know at the time. So
Yeah. I've got some green stuff. It's right at the back of the freezer, and I cannot get to it.
next to the peas.
Yeah, it's right at the back. It's frozen. It's gonna. I don't know. I'm gonna have to.
Right, I'm gonna go to the toilet now. Since you've
Did you answer the robot
you've had the
question?
liberty. Yeah, we discussed.
My blood is still good, so yeah, that's good.
Do you
Try to
pelvic
strip
floor?
over stuff.
Oh, there goes the
The
lights.
light knocks over
Well, so we got
robots.
Robots, yes.
I've got a robot made by Tim Prow.
Hurrah!
A cyborg. I
Excellent.
don't have
Yeah.
any full robots. I think. No.
Well, maybe now's the charm. Maybe your chance.
I've gone down 23. Got no more questions. Makes
On a
all
decent
Ross is sat on a
stool.
decent stool.
Oh,
We've got the,
no one
got the
puts
backup
Ross on a stool.
questions. Quick, talk.
Talk. Talk now.
Got that one.
Backup questions.
Oh, what?
But yes, painting was. It's nice to continue painting. It's you get into sculpting for such a long time, and then you think, well, can I still paint? And after the first couple of figures, it just comes back, and it's all paint, push, and it's nice because you're painting your own figures. So when you were sculpting it, you were visualizing, well, this would be nice at that color, and this would be a nice color scheme, and blah blah blah. And then you come to paint it, and you can follow through with exactly what you were thinking.
So you are a flawless sculptor. Do you find painting your own miniatures helps because you can see where you might have made?
Oh god, yeah.
From almost like
or there's a rivet missing. Shit, I should have told the mold maker. Look for that rivet. Or there's always things I notice on the figure when you go through and paint it. It's like washing your car. If you go to a place and they wash it for you, you'll never know that there's a scratch there.
Mm.
But if you wash your own car, which I do, and you'll all right, there's a blemish. There's some mother in Tesco has damaged my car, and you notice it straight away.
Like a proverb.
So yeah, you paint your own figures. You can see what's working and what's not. So
My painter and sculptor John does that. Yeah, I always send him back as soon as it's cast because he paints it up.
spot on.
For the same reasons. So you go, oh, hang on.
Yeah.
I have a question from Matt Canning, who I think is there. For both of you.
Uh-oh.
What is your favourite sculpting medium and why?
Ooh.
Don't do favourites.
Oh.
He
does.
Well, I mean, I can be honest about.
Well, I guess you
use.
have certain materials you like to use more or for certain things.
I'm still exploring and learning, really. I couldn't get into green stuff originally, so I mixed it with milliput, and I found that
It's actually wireless. I can just bring it here.
Wow.
the composite of those two worked for me, and then I eventually got into green stuff. And then I hated green stuff because I've discovered stuff like bees putty, and it's lovely to use, but trying to get bees putty stuff into metal, ideally you've got to get it done in resin mastered and heat proof, whatever else.
Yeah.
So it could be expensive if you're paying to get that done. So I prefer using stuff like polymer clays, like bees putty, but I'm quite happy to use green stuff. It's good for doing organics. I said this to you earlier, wasn't I? No, one of you. As a matter, it's nice to do textures with green stuff because it stretches and it's good for that kind of stuff. Whereas the clays, you can't stretch it. You've got to sort of make all that happen individually. So it's good for doing things like the snails over there, tentacles, gribblies, bases, and so on. But I'd rather use really fix on bees putty at the minute. I've just had a 40 quid order turn up, and it's like playtime.
See, I've just had some Procreate turn up, so I'm happy with that. I've tried bees putty, and I wasn't overly fussed. And the trouble is, when I'm doing stuff for Die Hard, I want a figure to come back so I can convert it, go away, come back. And I mean, I've converted some single figures maybe 5 times, which is awesome. And they don't look like they have been converted, but it looks like a brand new figure. With bees putty, it just breaks apart in the mold.
I don't get those back.
Die.
I get my green stuff masters back, but not my bees putties.
Yeah.
It's got some dust.
Although the stuff I've been casting myself to get painted up quickly, prototypes and whatever, generally because it's in resin, it's fine. But if I ever put that straight into rubber, get some crumbs back.
There you go.
There's a wide frame there in this one.
We got. How do you guys decide what your next model is going to be? Is it based on trend or personal taste?
It depends on who's paying me the most.
The outside factors.
Well, Die Hard, I guess, rather than commission.
Money. But yeah, the whole trend thing.
It's tricky.
My second ever Kickstarter was just before Rogue Stars came out, so it was right. Let's do some sci-fi characters. generic
timing.
Star Warsy sort of things,
Yeah.
and it did really well.
Mm.
So like a year later, I went to try and do the same thing. It's like, oh, that was one of my best Kickstarters. It was rubbish.
Yeah.
It's like whether
It's catching the wave, isn't it?
yeah.
You've got to know. I mean,
knowing what trends.
zombies come in, zombies have been in. Pirates come in, pirates have been in. You know, it's the sci-fi at the moment seems to be the crest of the wave. But you've because we're small, we can jump in and we can see where the trend's going and we can get one in there quick.
Hopefully.
The bigger people, it takes a while for the machine to start turning and churning. So that's
We've
where
got
we can
less
jump on.
cogs, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah.
I try to mix things that I know will do well because they've got because basically being female minis, it's mostly proxies. So it's what you can use them in.
And it's filling
so
gaps
I'll
as
mix
well.
it, say like World War II, that'll always be big.
Yeah.
So I know that they'll do well.
Yeah.
And then in between, occasionally as a treat, I'll do something else that might not work, but I really want to make it.
There are things
But you
can
do that
fall
on
back
every Kickstarter.
Yeah.
that you know will do well. Like
Yeah.
your old Hammer stuff.
You'll
There's
throw
always an
things out
audience.
there and you'll do exactly what the customer wants, but you'll throw maybe one or two figures in that you want. And whether it works well or not.
I do it all the time. It's like,
Yeah.
I did a Krakon, which is one arm, one leg goblinoid giant thing. Because I got doing the whole Irish thing, and I've got a few Irish friends, and they're like, "Oh, did this weird thing." And I'm like, "All right,
Yeah, sure.
and I sold one, but I really enjoyed doing it.
Yeah.
And I sent him a copy, and he painted it really nicely.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm cool with that. You know, that to me that was a personal milestone to do that. Whether people want to buy it or not didn't matter because the rest of the range sold, so it's fine.
Like my many guinea pigs in a trench coat.
Yeah.
And then they sold. So yes.
You never know. I might sell a load of Fakons now, but there we go.
Yeah.
I just like sending them to Irish painters because they'll paint them up.
How many dwarves will be in the range? What's the most interesting one? I think we're leaning to about 12. It depends because we've still got a couple more months of sculpting for it. So it kind of depends. Shane's the sculptor for it, and it's quite based on what he's feeling at the moment. So if he gets a bit of wave of inspiration, we might end up with a bit more than we started, but it's always going to be around 10. So if we get more than that, that'll be ace. The most interesting one of them has a crossbow and a guinea pig with an eye patch.
Crazy.
On her shoulder, like that.
Eye patch. Eye
Yes.
patch on her shoulder.
Eye patch.
Not over the eye.
You
Shoulder
I
Did I miss a joke when I went
but
to the
I'm
toilet?
gonna- there's something about putting Ross on a stool. That was from Hubbard, your brother. I don't know what that was.
Do I look
an actual
shorter?
stool
Do I look
or
shorter?
a bodily stool.
Am
Do I look taller now? I think Tim's taller, but Annie isn't.
Well, I'm slouched. I'm in the corner. I think I'm the
I
tallest.
think I just look small.
It's Saturday. I'm chilling. I'm gonna slouch.
I don't know.
Amanda says we're taking too long, but
What?
I don't know.
What is? The
I never
point?
know how long these go for,
Mm.
so I'm enjoying it as a
Mm.
There is no
Yeah.
point. We're
Q&A.
talking.
Yeah.
But it's viewable afterwards. So if you have anything that you need to get off and do, it will be what you can't get in.
I can't.
It will be viewable
where's
afterwards, and you can always
Yay,
skip
there
bits
is.
that you find boring.
Yeah.
I have actually
But
no
all of it.
idea.
Yeah,
how
when I'm
long
talking,
we're going
just
to go
skip
on
it.
for. Kind of as long as the questions come in, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no major point. Just us chatting
We're
and
drinking
asking us
rum.
questions.
I've run out of rum.
Yeah,
Ask
Send
questions.
rum. Send
and
rum.
sort of
Spice.
chilled.
You still there, Jacob? Do you remember this?
If you could all be polite in the comments, please. Any more questions? Questions, please.
Play nice, kids.
We actually have no questions left. That's it. We've jinxed it
Craig,
now.
how's Sudden Blunder going?
But Craig's not on here. So
He's there, though.
he's
He's there. He's
but he's
there.
not here. So we'd
I-
have to. It'd
I
just be
follow
us
Craig, and
We can
sitting
wait.
and
We
waiting
can
to
I'm
wait.
interested
see
in his
how
his
Fud and
rules.
Blunder was going.
Oh.
I'll
Will
get
you
right
be at
in now.
Robin tomorrow?
I'm slurring more.
Family stuff. Weekends, it's family.
Yeah, like tonight.
I managed to escape. I should have been out with friends from the gym. Actually,
No,
it's someone's
nothing else.
birthday tomorrow. But I find Nottingham boring for drinking.
What? There's
Well,
so
the
many
places I want to go
places.
to, they don't want to go to. Trendy places.
You gonna do any Victorian characters, Annie?
Yes,
Ooh.
definitely.
There you go.
There you go.
Size.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yes.
We happy?
there will be a My Last Sunrise 2.
Ooh.
When, I don't know.
Ooh.
All of my answers pretty much to when will you be doing or will you be doing are based on when I have some money. Because obviously,
Maybe
they
if you
will
pre-orders,
take loads
then
of
that
money.
will bring it further
Well,
up.
that's what's frustrating.
Post now, we'll
that,
do the models later.
Like
Yeah.
Kickstarter is the whole point of
Yeah.
Kickstarter is to get your ideas into a thing.
Is that,
But then you need to spend
Gary
money.
Morley?
Yeah, Gary and Shane did a couple, and I'm gonna get. Well, we had quite a few people, but Gary, Shane, and I'm gonna bring
That
Alan
was a really
in
nice set.
because Alan, I end up bringing in life, I think, because he's the best.
If you need any tentacles.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
I've even
Skeletons.
got, I've got
Let's do some
a proper
skeletons.
spreadsheet.
What's your
plan for
favourite
that
range
thing.
of creatures to sculpt?
To sculpt.
What tickles your fancy?
I always fall back to the mushroom guys, but it's almost like a crutch because I'm comfortable doing it. I've already got a range for them, but I'd love to do undead. But every time I do an undead, it's like it's not as good as the models I aspire it to be. So it's keep practicing to get there.
Yeah.
And dragons, everyone loves doing dragons.
Yeah.
But they're
I'm trying to think how many I've
a
ever
risk,
done in
really,
my
to
life.
do.
Yeah. I do
There's
have
a
one
dragon.
on my stretch goals. A swamp dragon.
Ooh.
It's going to be smaller.
Have you
It's
sculpted it yet?
No, but
Oh,
it's in
so
my
do you
mind.
kind of
My biggest
not
dragon's
want
that
to
big.
get into it?
So it
Don't
was
unlock the
easy
stretch goal.
to put out there. But
It's
yeah.
tricky. It's gonna be like if I do it, it's gonna be semi-familiar size, so it
Little
will be
friends,
it will
not
be a
a
smaller.
£300.
No.
sort of
Yeah,
fan,
it's
but-
going to be
yeah.
under a tenner.
It's not
something
such
like
a
that.
risk then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Getting it out there, and a lot
Yeah.
more people can afford it.
Remember the was it Bibby? Did he Bibby do
His
the
new
little
dragon.
ones?
Oh, but have
The-
you seen his latest one?
The
though?
baby stuff.
Oh yeah, I've got one in my cabinet.
Back in the 80s, yeah.
Because they're affordable because they're only small.
Yeah, exactly. And the one
Well,
coming
you
out of the
do
egg and
baby
stuff.
dragons.
I wanted something like that.
I have done baby dragons,
Yeah.
but my
Even your mum dragon.
mum dragon's small. But it was. You look at everybody else doing dragons, and you see the risks and whatever, and it's like, well, I'll do
Too
just
much,
something sensible size. That if it doesn't do well, it's not going to cost me
Yes.
too much.
Yeah, it's a lot
But
of expensive.
That's why I sold the one to Fenris, because I didn't want to produce it myself, but I really wanted to do one, and I've done it, and I've got it out, and that's a large
And
one.
what a choice, is that?
Yeah.
Everyone loves it.
So smaller, because I mean, back in the day, Brelpartha and Games Workshop, they produced smaller dragons,
Yeah,
and we thought they were big.
Yeah, no, you know.
And now
But
it's
then that
like
is how big
when you look at the
dragons
gaming
are,
market, Kings of War as an example, your frontage is 50 mil. So the Brelpartha Zombie Dragon I'll use, and it's too long to use in a game.
Yeah.
So you got people mounting it up and stuff. But my
You
brother
put more
gave
rocks.
me the Reaper one, and it sits on my fireplace. It's so big. It's lovely to have, but it's not going well. But yeah, the old Citadel Marauder and stuff. They're great for gaming.
Yeah.
And your biggest audience is going to be the people.
They could fit on a 40 mil base.
The
You know,
massive ones do look really cool.
They do.
they do, but they're impractical.
Yeah, they look cool. They could sell a piece. If you're at a tournament, you go, oh, look at that.
Yes.
But yeah,
That's it.
I get they've both got their own sort of land.
Yeah.
There's some talk of Vectorians on there. Any chance of a female hero on a winged beast? Not currently, because the winged beast would cost me a fortune. Then I'd have to sell
Probably
it for
resin,
loads,
wouldn't it?
and then I'd sell a mighty 10 or
It
something.
could be.
It's the sort of thing that Tim keeps going, let me do a big winged beast.
Let me do it.
I'm
Say
like,
an
but the
ostrich.
amount
They've
of
still
money
got
I
wings.
spend on a winged beast,
Yeah,
or I could
yeah.
get more Soviet ladies. An ostrich.
They've got wings.
They have.
The
They don't
terror
use
bird. A
them.
terror bird with a
Oh.
female fighter on a terror bird.
This weird stuff's gonna happen.
Do it.
Hang on, what was that? Aura Victorian.
Oh, Mike originally asked for Vectorian,
Oh, no,
but
we
my
know what you
brain's also correct.
No, we know
Sort of
what you
fixed it.
Victorian.
Paolo, how do you see the 3D printing market affecting your sector?
It's Lewis.
Hi, Lewis Collins. We waved to Lewis. He's a nice chap. I think it's interesting what's going to be happening, and it definitely will change. We're all old school green
Suck it and
stuffies.
see. Yeah, I mean,
They're not being nice to each other. Look.
No.
I think while there's still people buying traditional sculpts, then there'll still be a market for it. So
it's more like once people can print stuff at home, but the printers that you get,
they
I was
are
arguing with
shite
someone
at the
on
moment.
Facebook
Yeah,
yesterday about it.
yeah.
You have to have a really high-end printer
yeah.
to get.
You
but
might as well
then
use instant mold
it's
still.
kind of a bit culty.
By the time you've done it, you might as well have just bought a bloody
just-
figure.
If you
know,
can
pay for
spend
the
£5 grand
shipping,
plus on
yeah.
a 3D printer to
Yeah.
produce 28 mil
think-
models, you might as well.
Yeah.
You've got the money to buy.
Yeah.
3D
the
printers have definitely got their place, and they'll have more of a place
As
as
time
they
goes
get
on,
cheaper.
they'll
But
get
I
cheaper.
don't think
Yeah,
they'll
yeah.
replace anything.
But me, as earlier into my sculpting career, I am very aware of I need to get into digital. Especially if I looked at GW and wanted a job there, it's 100% digital now.
Yeah. Jez, we were out drinking a couple of years ago, and he mentioned to me, if you ever want to come back and stuff, and you get into digital printing, then come and have a look.
If Bob Ollie can do it,
Exactly.
is it Ollie or
No,
Naismith?
Nick.
It's Naismith, isn't it? Doing the 3D stuff. That's really nice.
Somebody. No, we'll come back to that one. Brain's
Memory.
gone. Brain's gone.
Yeah. Oh, that was it.
What was his name? Damn it.
Dang.
X Games Workshop.
Any Dutch people here? I'm drinking your lager.
Who did the early Space
not
Marines?
proud,
Who was it? Scottish sculptor. Early Space Marines.
Naismith.
They might know.
Naismith.
Oh,
Bob
Naismith.
Naismith.
Yeah,
He
he does
really.
yeah.
You're never
he's
too old.
digital now.
You're
Yeah.
never too old to get into
Yeah.
digital.
Exactly.
He did a
His
recent
stuff's really good.
Kickstarter that was
And your
really
bits start
nice.
dropping off and you can't feel your fingers anymore. Go digital.
You can zoom in with digital when your eyes go too.
Exactly.
Use your nose.
Just
I didn't want to say names, but yeah.
What?
Ooh.
Oh yeah,
Ah.
no. Look at him just reading the
I
comment.
don't want to name people.
Yeah,
but
let's
I think
not.
People
Yeah.
get it.
Lewis, hey guys, for sculptors, Procreate or green stuff? We kind of
Procreate.
had this a little earlier,
Procreate.
but between two, Procreate. or green
Procreate.
stuff.
He's the expert.
It holds the edges nicer. You have a shorter play time, so if you're used to playing with it for short periods of time,
Playing with
get
it.
the detail on steady,
Right.
and get it under the lamp. You can be working on the same figure again within half an hour, and you can just
I've got
play it
a
straight back on.
good thing about winter is I always have my halogen heater on. And it's like a miniature sun,
Mm.
and I'll just have this long line of green stuff sculpts next to it, and yeah, within half an hour
To get tan.
they come back up.
But too hot
burnt lamp.
and the green will bubble.
Yeah, I put some green
you
stuff
have to
in
be
my
careful.
cooker, which I use for my clay,
Mm.
and this was actually a commission. All the green stuff bubbled, and I basically had to cut it off and redo it.
Yeah.
So you only do that once.
Yeah. Well, you've got it on a plastic base, and you put it under there, and the plastic base bubbles. It's like ooh.
Same with because I
Too
started
hot.
putting.
Do
Because
you
Kev,
always cook greens? then? If
No,
green
it's a
stuff,
cooker. It's not. It's
Just to
sorry. It's
speed
not a
it.
literal cooker, folks. It's
Oh yeah,
long
but does
Mercurial.
that
it's a
speed it
lamp.
up?
You had when I went to America. I worked for Rob Arthur and then WizKids and Dave Summers. They had coffee cans that they got big coffee in. He cut a little window out for me, cut the top off, put a lamp over the top, and then you pick the right bulb heat, and then basically we call them cookers, and you'll put your miniature under there, and it will fit say 5 or 6 figures, and you can cook them, and then one's dry, you take it out, put the oil on, and it's like a conveyor belt. You just go round and round.
Just
it's
so
what's
you're
good
not
to have
sat
a
waiting
few
for it
on the
to-
go. and
Yeah,
rotate through them.
definitely, absolutely. No, the stuff I'm doing at the moment, the Mia stuff, the resin figures that I'm converting, and as soon as the putty's on, I put it underneath. I go on to the next one, and it's just
Yeah.
full.
Whee!
Yeah.
You know, Miss Miniatures actually supposed to be pronounced Merc Miniatures.
I was about to
Mia.
say, do you remember,
Mias.
do you remember you telling me the other day, Mia is supposed to be pronounced differently? Well, if you're going to take bloody your entire naming logic on Welsh names,
Says Krakon.
Crack on.
Slavic.
And D hard.
Hard. That's
Hard.
Squidoo.
Yeah.
Because I look at the analytics of what people have
Yeah.
been searching and
Yeah,
stuff. It's always Squidoo. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no. To be fair, I didn't think the company had lasted a year,
It's
so I
better
didn't
than
put much
it's
care
better than
into
not- It's like Squidoo. It's Squidoo.
Squidoo.
It's
Squidoo.
positive.
Yeah,
I like
that's
it.
positive
Very
action.
like it. Yeah. Good.
Thomas says,
Good Squiddo games.
Mm.
Yes. Yeah. There are good 3D printers.
Yeah.
They tend the ones that are really, really good. If you're talking about the quality of a 28mm really nicely made miniature, it's hard to get for the initial investment and then all the mucking around with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he says there, the terrain is
Yeah.
good when it's
It's-
larger
I've
stuff.
got a
And it
question.
doesn't
It's
really
for the
matter.
right
I've got a question.
subject, isn't it?
Do you want another drink?
I would love one.
Do you want a drink? You're talking
Yeah.
too
I'm
much.
gonna you want the lollipop and let me.
Oh no!
I'm
You
gonna
can't.
sniff your rum.
Oh no! I'm alone. Oh, yay! There's a new
We're
comment
back.
too. Yes. What have we got? Okay, it doesn't auto scroll. It's infuriating. What would you like to see made by each other? That's a good one.
But it's good that it's not auto scroll because you can keep the current question there. If too many people commented, you'd lose
That's
it.
true. Oh, I think Tim, the sound of approval is coming from my run.
It's okay. It's not brilliant,
but
it's,
you know,
it's a good mate.
I'm not as rich as you.
Maybe £5 difference between that one.
Yeah, that's a big £5.
Yeah.
I'll answer that. Tim, it's quite an easy answer for me. What I'd like Tim to make is more undead because I think I've got all of Tim's undead, and every time he makes more undead, I buy his undead. So,
Yeah.
Very well as well.
my first ever army in '89 or whatever was undead, and yeah, I'm old.
I wasn't born.
Not as old as some of these though, or Tim, but it was my first ever army, and I've stuck with it overall. I've collected a lot over the years, but undead's still very relevant to me, and Tim still has the style that appeals to me. So there we go.
Oh, the mic can't pick up Tim's little yays.
I won a game. I won a game of Kings of War the other day by using Tim's archers, and still going yay.
Yeah, there's little yays coming. From
My
the kitchen.
archers were rubbish, but they were so rubbish they just sat in the middle of the table doing nothing. And at the end of the game, it was whoever had the most stuff in the middle of the table won. And these archers are just like, well, we're here, and it won me the game. So there we go. And they looked really pretty at the same time. So the most important part of that.
What would you like to see from Bad Squiddo?
Bad Squiddo, female miniatures sculpted by me.
Humans.
No, weird things that aren't human.
You need to get back in the frame. Tim's back.
You forgot my Heineken.
Oh shit! I brought it out. I brought it out. I saw the rum and I got.
What would you like to see made by both Bad Squiddo and Krakon?
Krakon, some humans.
No, I've done some humans, but they've all got helmets.
Stretch
Dude,
your
they're
abilities.
humans.
So I mean, sometimes
Open
someone
that.
wants you a freelance wants you to do something that you're not really keen on, but you have to see it as a challenge and you say
Definitely,
Pushing your skills.
I have to push myself in that direction. You know, I wasn't comfortable in the past making females because I didn't make enough of them at the time.
Women.
Yes,
I
women.
mean,
Beautiful female shapes.
yes.
Female. But you've got to do more and more of them to get better at it. That's the,
definitely.
That's
I
the
do
issue.
do them on silent.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
never show them to people.
But you'll get it's the hardest thing to do though, people.
Just a female trolley.
You notice as
People
soon
look at
as
them
there's any
all-
slight difference, like faces, yeah, as soon as
the
it's
same.
slightly off.
And with ladies as well,
Ladies?
it's even more so because it's something that you look at and you look at the beauty and you unless you are planning to make an ugly woman, you really want to
I
make
do,
the
though.
best female that you can.
That's the thing. Humans are so scrutinised
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they're so
Because
studied.
you look
and
at it all the time.
There's a
Advertising.
perfect
I think
shape,
with
it's
women,
got to be.
it's always bombarded
Yeah,
that they have
yeah.
to be attractive.
Yeah. And
So
unless
with,
you have
with
white,
male figures,
But when it comes to a
yeah.
snail,
you
you can get away with it being
No.
looking
with
a
male
bit odd.
figures, no one comments on their attractiveness.
Oh.
It's just a dude doing
Yeah,
a thing.
yeah.
So I found that also that even though I'm totally trying to go against the grain, I've still got to have a degree.
there's got to be
Because-
some beauty
yeah,
as
well,
well.
some of the
Yeah,
figures
they can
when-
be fully clothed and they can be hard as fuck. But
Like,
they've
swore
still
on
got to
live,
be-
haven't
You swore.
Sorry, mum.
Yeah, but it's
But
like
yeah.
people being critical, and you've
It's a
still got to
balance. It's got to be a
make,
balance.
pay your rent.
Yeah.
So there's always that balance. Like I
Yeah.
really enjoyed the challenge we had with the Chaos Warrior.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
was when I went, that's why people do boob armor.
Yeah, exactly.
She's fully armored with a helmet on. She's just gonna look like a
Is it a
normal
bloke?
chaos.
Is it a woman? Could be a bloke or woman.
But
Could
I
be,
like
yeah.
Kate designed that like butterfly armor.
Yeah.
And I like that because it was still
Yeah.
practical
Yeah,
armor.
yeah.
But Ross is doing something.
I am
over there.
doing more females in my range as well, though.
Women.
So, yeah, women.
It's not females.
It's weird because I don't
That's
see
what
that as a kind
Ferengis
of...
say.
But
it's not...
We're losing Tim. He's saying females.
Females.
And there's going to be comments down
Females?
there.
Female humans.
Yes.
I haven't
But
answered
I
either.
do enjoy doing
I
that.
would like to see Tim make more fantasy ladies.
Oh.
Females.
You sound like a
well, I
Ferengi.
really, yeah.
Females.
I really like
Females.
that archer lady you did recently.
See
I'm
my
like,
mother
some more of those.
Maybe not.
Um,
I'm trying to think what I'm doing. Yes.
yeah, I like the lady stuff that you
the
do.
chaos stuff I'm going to be doing for this year, this October. There will be more ladies in the units. So if I'm converting some male figures, there will be brand new lady figures
Just knocking the tree over.
in the units. So yes, I do want to have at least if it's not even 50-50, at least it's getting close to that.
He asked us a question.
What did he ask?
Oh, sorry.
You're gonna have to show that to the camera.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
fizzy
sorry,
stuff.
just scrolling through the comments. Lewis Collins, hello. He's a very good sculptor. He says, "Are you all at Salute this year?" I'm at Salute as Bad Squidder Games, and I have demo table and colouring in again.
Oh.
And we mentioned
should-
earlier, Tim
yeah.
should be on a secret stand because it's not quite solidified
It's not
yet.
solidified.
Solidified.
If I'm not officially there, then I'm hoping I'll just get the train down and just
He'll be like
walk around.
touting off the
like
edge of my stand or something.
Exactly.
Yes, Lewis.
Oh, to Lewis, Ross
Designed-
would like to show you.
He designed these, but I sculpted him from his
If you move
pictures.
them towards, it will
Oh,
also.
it's-
If you do the thing that go there.
Ooh. These are
Oh,
Oh,
Lewis did the concept art for these for me,
awesome.
and I sculpted them.
oh, they're cool.
And
Are
my
they new thingies?
undead Fomorians. There we go. And I may have made some more.
Oh, we
But
missed.
you'll see that on
Sorry,
later.
you guys weren't there. Craig replied earlier that his Fud and Blunder is out at Salute and is coming along well.
Excellent.
Graham, I'm about to start casting at home in the next few weeks with metal, and I'm starting to think about 28mm scale things. I have no experience with modelling. Would you recommend CAD or physical sculpting? We are all physical sculpty people,
But
yeah,
past, we are
we-
the past.
Um,
Currently,
You are the
it's
future.
it's
well,
a bit of both.
yeah. Well, it
The
depends
future
if
is
he's going to
digital.
sculpt himself or.
The future is digital.
I
It
think
is.
the best digital sculptors were proper sculptors
Yeah, learning
in the
that
beginning.
physical skill
Because
first.
yeah, they understand the physics of the figures. They understand how they go together. They have the anatomy, everything, the movement, the poses.
And how they'll be cast. as
Yeah,
well.
I guess when you're making a physical thing
and
at the
they-
end, it's nice to
They
have at least
understand it
experience.
so much more better than these kids that just come
These
straight from
kids.
college and they're like, I can play with computers and there you go. And it's just like,
So old.
Print that.
ah,
Cast that.
yeah, but done properly, it's awesome. Otherwise, it's just generic chaff. That's
I
it.
think a lot of the digital sculptors have come from video game backgrounds as well, which is one of the issues
And
that
that's
yeah,
a
they
big
make
learning
things.
curve.
Yeah, they make things that look really, really nice, but they don't.
It won't
Once they're
cast.
don't know
printed and
how it
small,
works.
yeah, they're so
Yeah.
fine scale that
Yeah.
everything's really small,
Yeah.
and that's a whole other
Because
thing to learn.
you've got to remember, it's at the end of the day, it's got to be painted by you people,
People.
and you want to enjoy it. You see stuff on Kickstarters, and it's a render, and it looks. This is what it's going to look like, and they even paint it up on the computer. But it's not real until you get that
I'm not
produced.
smiling.
And if it's produced in plastic in China, and then it comes to you, and you go, "That's pants,"
Yeah.
but I paid for it, and it was so
Oh,
beautiful on the
pretend,
computer.
it's okay.
Yeah, and exactly. And
I
you'll
could name a
defend
few
it.
Kickstarters of bats
Ah.
that looked really pretty, but I won't
Yeah,
name them.
yeah, we weren't going that
Um,
far.
But yeah,
but-
CAD or ZBrush is the best
Yeah,
one on the
that's the
market.
main one.
Yeah.
But it's
people
also
use.
probably the most expensive on the market.
Yeah.
They've got a free one called Sculptress, but there's others out there as well.
Mm.
Oh, You're
Hang on.
scrolling.
No, don't. I'm just background scrolling just to check nobody's saying that the stream's gone or anything. Carry on. Enjoy.
We've been
I'm
talking
just-
for hours.
I'm,
and
no,
no
I'm
one's
just,
there.
I'm just looking at the future. It's fine. It's
And the
fine.
Numbers going up.
Yeah, I know.
1 hour and 8
They
minutes.
know they're enjoying it.
More
so-
questions.
We start getting paid.
Dave,
So what makes you bust?
Drinking rum.
And I mean,
hang on,
your,
but-
your model.
Oh.
where were we? Up here. Yeah, we're all old schoolers, but
Mm.
like as much as I just personally prefer greens, I've nothing against CAD, and there are some amazing things. It's just for me currently, I just really I like physical things.
We
so-
like metal models, but a lot of people
Metal.
don't.
Hmm. So there you go. I like
It's
puddle
the only
bases.
way I get exercise carrying my metal army
Yeah.
to the club.
Exactly. Getting from the
Um,
caster and like carrying them home.
I forgot what I said about Craig, but he said,
It was
someone
nice.
said, listen here, Sonny Jim, I began in, oh, that was me. I began in the 70s, but I'm not old.
Never.
Kristen loved the mad old cat lady, real face. Yes, thank you.
Is that Ross or
My
you?
bust, that was my bust.
Oh, right.
Did you not see, did you see that?
I thought you meant
Um,
on the
Kristen
camera.
likes
No,
Annie's
my,
bust.
my crone.
Yes, it's really
Her
cool.
face is so good.
Yeah, it's lovely. Painted up
Yes.
nicely.
Yes.
Mm.
Painted by the sculptor as well. Damn you people.
Damn you
Skills.
people.
Matt's correcting you. Women. not
Women.
females.
Women.
Hi, Bruce.
Women.
Woman.
Bruce, my new show helper is here. Yay.
Bruce.
Doop-a-doo. So just scrolling through the comments. How can we make Fomorians worse? Undead them.
Louis likes his.
What's in
His
cards?
sculptures.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, Lewis likes the sculpts that he designed for you and you sculpted.
Yay.
I did some
Well
more.
put.
Give-
I don't know
have
what
you
to say
sent-
about
sent
that.
him
Well
some?
put. Thank you, Thomas.
I will be.
Doop-doop. Hi, Darren. Hey, I normally troll Darren's live videos, so I hope he trolls me a little bit. Carl from Crooked Dice. Evening, all. I like
Hello.
this interwebs telly stuff.
Can I
See,
interject
Yes.
in the most PC way possible? Fomorians,
Oh.
aka
Oh,
Famir,
no,
Oh.
have a very
I'm familiar with that.
dodgy background
Uh-oh.
in
Oh,
how,
yeah.
in how they
They
reproduce.
do.
So, undead
Yeah.
Fomorians
Oh.
don't have those physical issues.
They'll have a boner.
Ah!
Stop ruining my stream. No more Tim. We'll just cut him out there.
Ladies.
I give
Um,
up on that.
Females.
They are terrible.
Carl from Crooked Dice
Female.
says, I like the interweb telly. See you at Robin. Yes, Ross is trading as Krakon, and I will be babying his booth.
And I'll be
And-
DIYing at home.
Oh, you're not coming at all. No.
There'll be
Yeah.
need at this
So
point.
I'm not officially working, but I'm helping Ross out and showing him the ropes of how to be a trade show genius. And I have a couple of my bits on, but I'll actually
Whoa.
get to. God, see how much
The
rum
rum's
you have.
kicking in.
Shit. Yeah, I'll be wandering around and getting people coffee, so I'm sure I'll be getting you some coffee, Carl.
Yes, you do,
But
Craig.
yes, we will see you in the morning.
Help me sell them.
Yes, Craig, you do need to write an undead for more list.
Not enough
for-
orange.
for-
Not enough orange. All my trolls
Oh,
are
that's
orange. This is my focus. Focus.
Oh,
Focus.
don't even have-
They have a
Now
tan.
you see the pain
Yeah,
of that
good.
video I did. Oh,
Look at the boobs.
It doesn't-
on that.
doesn't focus.
There
Yeah,
we
but yeah,
are.
that.
Yes,
Um,
this is one of my milestone figures. I was quite proud of this one, and it's orange. So there we
Careful
go.
of how many parts they end up in. Separate ears and beards is bonkers.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah,
that,
we don't produce manifold plastics, so
Um,
we're all right.
that was one of my issues with the freebooters. As absolutely lovely as they are, there's so many pieces, and
Yeah.
I
I
try and make
understand.
miniatures that I would like to paint and assemble. And I get really angry with multi-part metals, and then I lose interest.
The
and
big
get
companies
angry,
out there
so-
obviously struggle with recasters and the like, and it makes sense that GW are doing their very complex sliced plastic kits
Mhm.
to stop recasters and so on. But it also enables them to do really nice figures in better poses.
Mm.
If you look back at the latest Space Hulk they did, and you could see the issues in some of the bits, like the guy coming out the ground, you could see the undercuts just
Yeah.
being blocked out and so on, which is something we'll deal with metal figures. We either make a multi-part or very flat looking to be single part.
Mhm.
Because you look at this guy,
Still on one plane.
because there's lots of layers.
Yeah.
Both his arms are separate.
Really?
Because of, yeah,
Ah.
My
but
dude could probably do that.
I have a very good pin vice.
Mm.
Pinned him to death. but otherwise your models are quite flat when it comes to metal, more so than resin, because resin's a bit more forgiving. But the rubber, obviously,
all the pressure squishes.
Yeah, you have to weigh in how many you're going to sell, how long you want the mold to last, and how cool a pose you want, and then how many pieces you want in a mold. You want it to not be too many pieces.
Yeah, then it ups the cost because you don't get as much per spin.
Yeah,
because of all the little bits.
He fit the space of 3-4 smaller infantry guys.
I think resin's not as bad when you can squish it onto one bit.
Oh god, yeah.
You can
If you have
wiggle it.
multiple resin molds.
Dave says,
Metal
do you all
casters
play
up.
tabletop games currently? What's your favourite? We did skirmish earlier. Currently, I don't play
How's the beast
anything.
putty going, Dave?
But I have been assembling a Stormcast army for Age of Sigmar.
Where's your deep
I
kit?
have been talking about it. No, I didn't do any deepkin. I just bought the book. I went, hey, fishies.
Aquafishies.
Aquafish. Oh, yeah, I watched when I was
Aquaman.
watching Aquaman. Like, this is a deepkin
It
film.
really is. It
Like,
really is.
was
that
there
trailer.
influence? Apparently, it was all done before that, and it was just obviously they're quite like
Coincidence.
undersea tropes. But
Yeah.
yeah, that
Yes.
I built a
Is that a leg or a bone?
We can't
It's an
do it.
arm.
It's an arm. It's the
it's the
poster.
Um,
The original
An
wall
arm.
poster.
So
Anyway,
what
sorry,
else?
we're-
Well, I'm
yeah.
losing these guys
Favorite tabletop games.
currently.
So
that you
yours
play.
is
So,
AOS. Do you
even
play
though I-
AOS?
No,
Which
I was
is
just
your
building an army. No, what I was starting to say was that I
Yes.
used to play Warhammer 8 a lot. And I
Yeah,
used to do
yeah.
lots of tournaments, and I got really
Play
into it. And I missed
Warhammer
that.
with the gnomes.
2.
The gnomes.
Yeah, the second
I've got
edition.
names.
Second edition, yeah.
I only got into it at third.
When I got into it, my friend's best friend at school, he had the first edition, and then when I went to Games Workshop, second edition had come out, and I was like, yes, second edition, cooler. But obviously,
Still black and white.
Yeah, black and white. It was beautiful. No, the second edition was red. It was the box and the magic and the combat.
3 books was that?
Yeah, 3 books. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Loved it. Blanche artwork. Amazing.
So I grew up third till Age of Sigmar, and then it
So
was such
Steve from Ceres has just joined.
it was such a different game. It didn't replace what we enjoyed about Warhammer, and whereas Kings of War did.
Yeah.
So it was a natural transition.
Yeah,
It took them making AOS to get the rest of the guys at my club to move over.
Yeah.
I tried first edition. Yeah, second edition Kings of War was just a streamlined, quicker, more fun version of Warhammer. So
Yeah.
I still use all my ancient metal models from Warhammer to play Kings of War.
Absolutely.
So it made sense to do that.
Darren is watching with no sound.
Uh-oh.
Don't want to wake the wife. Give us waves.
Yay, Darren. Do we know sign language for Darren?
No,
D, give him the D.
no.
D.
Don't give him
No,
the
is that D?
That's
No.
that's a
Diddle D. Yeah, Darren, put a headset on. That's
Yeah.
the way. Oh, I can't afford one. Drinking and filming, so unprofessional, so Battlehammer. Yes.
I'm not recording. I'm just talking.
Yeah.
No. All that. Orange Trolls.
Yes.
Nice.
Orange Trolls are the best. Behave.
Are you...
Humans for Kings of War.
Hello, Christine.
Oh, hurrah for Kings of War. I can say,
I
"Not
used to
humans."
play Reaper. It's Straw. What? Yes. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Sorry, Straw.
by Rick Priestley.
Not Darren.
Oh, it's the old guy, Craig.
If Straw is listening, then he'll know we've been calling him Darren, so he must be listening. I used to play Reaper by Rick Priestley before Warhamster. Okay, I am old. Oh, a little sad face.
Yeah, but we
That'd be
like
sad.
old stuff.
Yeah.
We like making metal models.
yeah.
That's old.
Yeah,
I just like making
Yeah.
people feel old.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
It makes me feel old when people come in and go, "Oh yeah, I like resin. I don't like metal.
Oh.
Oh, I hate metal." I'm like, "Well, that's what
And
I
when
grew
Annie
up on."
sends you these memes, you don't understand.
When you
Yeah,
say
yeah.
Mimi.
Oh God. Yeah. I used to call them moomies. I didn't know it was moomies.
Oh, Straw is definitely listening now.
Excellent.
Steve has a copy of Reaper in the
Yeah,
attic.
there's at least 2 old people here then.
Any more questions? Because we have actually run out of questions.
Do it.
There's
Shall I
the
take my
quiz
phone?
question. Yes.
What are you doing tonight?
What are you doing tonight?
That's
Well,
from Tim.
we have been on for 1 hour 20 minutes, so
Awesome.
there's still 26 people.
I don't know if
got
you
rum,
share
so I
it, so
don't
I probably
mind.
haven't got any
Yeah,
questions.
that's
Got plenty
okay.
of rum.
I like that. I've just noticed all my cool ladies are in the background as well. You can see me, Sean.
I'm going to share that we like this bed square. There we go.
Come on, some more commenties.
Have we done all the ones
whilst I'm-
posted on the group?
Yeah, I didn't do Twitter because my Twitter's full of this massive tag that I'm in. But I'll have a little look. No, don't
It's
no. If we're running out, we'll stop. But if we can find,
No, I'm
some
just
more-
sharing.
Yeah,
You know,
I don't want to lose that quality. As Tim is the best.
What is your
on here.
favourite race? My favourite race, I think undead. I really enjoy making undead stuff.
I like your
Sci-fi
undead.
stuff
I like
as well.
classic undead.
Yeah.
I like yours more than the newer plasticky stuff because I like that particular aesthetic.
Yeah,
Just again, personally, I'm not saying either are better, but I like that older style of it. Where it's not. There's no.
My
not
belief
lots
is,
and lots
yeah,
of things
there's
happening.
a belief is that- My belief is they don't go to Undead or Us when they die and get all
Meals?
this funky stuff with skulls and
His favourite
battles and
meal's
all that
undead.
kind of stuff. It's too much. I think when a character dies and they come back in the same uniform that they're facing off against their old friends that's still alive, that is the scariest thing, to see them come back wearing your armor and with holes and things sticking out of them.
Sounds like you've personally
stuff.
experienced it.
Yeah. On a nightly basis. But yeah, I find that more scary than having all the stupid skulls all over the army. And making
just
freaky weird
dead
stuff.
guys.
Yeah,
Because I wonder who
90s workshop
dresses the
stuff.
undead guys.
Yeah. It's
Do they
Undead
have-
or
They
Us.
don't get undressed. They're just in it.
No, I mean
Undressed.
like
Said in it
when
again.
Undressed.
when they're
Undead.
all in the same theme, so they're in like reds and purples of
Yeah.
undead. Do they have a
I
necromancer
make a point
that
of not
does
painting
that?
them in the same theme though.
Yeah, but
That's.
I mean,
you need to ask
in
the people
general,
that paint
yeah.
all their undead blue and go.
Yeah.
What
Well,
are
if
their
it's all from
uniform?
one army, then that makes sense.
True.
But when everything is tied in, do they have a necromancer that sort of does all the fashion for them?
Each of my units is
Colour
different.
coordinates them.
Yeah.
I've
What's
got-
your favourite race and stuff?
It'd be like a necromancer with like OCD.
I don't like the word race.
You're not in
Well-
my
to
army.
me-
You've got yellow.
The species.
Trope or species? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
Because a
trope, yeah.
dwarf and an elf are not races; they're species, surely.
Yeah.
Unless
That's why
Oh, yeah,
my
that's-
mixed species units.
Yeah.
you can say, what's your favourite race of elves? Dead ones. Yeah. Mine's undead again. And
The
again,
trouble is they look like humans then, because the pointy ears, kind of flop off.
true.
Oh,
The-
yeah.
So then you don't
the
know whether-
main
yeah.
features fall off when you die.
It's going to be the armor that says what they were.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
But
My
it's, yeah,
favourite thing ever is ghouls.
undead then.
Cool.
Girls and ghouls.
Ghouls. Ghouls.
Should we
I
do
really-
sci-fi species? Races, species.
Are they particular things? Surely they're the same.
Well, we've both said undead, which is more of a fantasy thing.
Twilix.
With
We
the
need some more
tentacled
the
headed
tentacles,
things. Yeah, they're quite
Yeah.
cool. And pretty.
Yeah.
What are your favourite
There's never been
meals?
an ugly one.
Meals.
Dwarves.
Meals. What's your favourite meal? What's your if when they find out what you've done and you have one last meal, what's it going to be?
Before I go to Valhalla.
Crisps.
Some kettle chips.
Something Mexican, maybe.
What would you order from a takeaway if it's Chinese?
Something Mexican.
So definite preference. then.
Duck. I'd order a whole duck.
Yeah.
Shredded
yeah.
duck.
Not too fat.
I'm vegetarian.
What
this
would your
month.
final meal be? I've turned it from what's your favourite
My-
meal
my
to your
favourite-
final meal.
My favourite cuisine's Indian. My final meal.
Mm.
That's really difficult, isn't it?
I think mine would be like macaroni cheese
Something
and
I
mashed
ha-
potato.
Something I like. I hadn't eaten for a while, but the things I like, I eat all the time.
Yeah.
So, toad in the hole.
John Haynes, Annie, I don't know if telling you that you are younger than my daughter makes me feel old or you feel young.
feel
A
young.
bit of both. I don't know. I'm at
No,
that
it
point
just
where
means you're old.
I'm at the point where I've started to feel old now. I've definitely
That's
not
what
down-
she
You're in your
invite-
40s.
I'm not down
That's
with
what
the
she
girls
invites old,
anymore.
invites old men
Yeah, I
round.
know. That's why I invite old.
Look at these ancient men with me.
I know, it makes me feel young. What do you think the next big thing will be in gaming?
It's sci-fi at the moment.
Skirmish is still big. What if Skirmish, like a Big Bang and Crunch? What if Skirmish runs out and then it becomes mass battle again?
It won't.
I don't know. I think no one's got the attention span or patience.
afford mass battles?
For mass
The
battle,
attention
like-
span kind of pushes towards skirmish more than large scale paint a fucking huge army.
Yeah, I actually don't know how I got into the hobby with painting mass armies. If someone introduced me to it now and went, right, you need to invest this much money and paint all these things before you can play.
The only time I could have a mass army was when I was painting my epic army. That's the only way you could do it. Because the time you take to paint properly, it would be too long.
Belching.
It would be too long. So, but as I don't know, what is the next wave? I mean, we've got sci-fi now.
To be
What's going to be
fair,
next?
I'm normally pretty on the
Fun
mark.
Blunder.
Fun and Blunder.
That's the next big thing.
I'm so out the loop of what's actually coming out.
Pay me later, Craig.
Give them a little.
What
Yeah,
I would
I
like the
don't
next
know.
big thing to be is fantasy naval games.
Ooh.
On the naval.
Oh.
Yeah, I always think of naval
It's
gaming
something I
when they
wanted
say
to
that.
And
jump
I was
into.
drinking the rum.
I
Yeah.
just can't take it seriously.
Yeah.
It's
I wanted
always
to jump
naval
into
gaming.
it, but Uncharted Seas was a game I liked, but Spartan Games went away to Dodo. But Warcradle picked them up. But a company did a Kickstarter called Gravetides, which is undead ships. But Katsuna are doing sea monsters at the minute, which look really good. Mustafa's doing the art, they're doing the sculpting. And I still feel there's this hole in the market for fantasy naval. Fantasy
Google
naval
fantasy
games.
naval.
And it's something I'd like to do. Because
Well, there's Deep Wars.
that's 28mm skirmish underwater, not so much.
Oh, not
small
like
ships, yeah. Boats, like Man of War,
Yeah,
basically.
Man of War, or that really good game that went down really well.
Dreadfleet. Dave Corley, who's watching,
Hi, Dave.
no, actually, it was a different Dave. I was
No,
talking to.
not Dave Corley.
We were talking about Dreadfleet being a fun game, but at the time, everyone thought it was going to be a reboot of Man of War, and it wasn't. And they just rejected it without even trying the game.
It is on every bring and buy ever.
But if anyone's actually played Dreadfleet,
Was it Dread?
they've said it's fun.
Oh.
Oh.
And the models are good, but you can't buy 5 sets and go, that's a fleet, because they're very, very unique, different sculpts.
One of my the last figure I ever painted for Games Workshop before I was taken to one side and marched off was the Dark Elf. It was a large Dark Elf ship. I remember painting. Naively, in my youthful 21-year-old, I was like, should have finished painting this first. And they're like, no, just get your stuff and leave the building.
Oh.
21.
It was
What did you do to them?
Yeah, I don't want to, for legal reasons, we won't get into that. But yeah, we parted ways.
Didn't kill anyone.
No, I didn't. But it was a natural progression.
Yes.
They pick people up when they're young and they chew them up and they let them into the world afterwards. So it was a Dark Elf ship. Would that have been Dreadfleet? What was the?
Was it really small?
The Man of War.
Man of War,
yeah.
Maybe.
No, it was a large ship. It was a very large ship, and I was just.
It's the only game.
Painting those. I remember.
Someone will correct me on this. It's the only game I can think of that GW haven't rebooted in some way.
Yeah. Well, I guess they tried.
Maybe something for them to.
Someone will mention the troll games.
Joint projects. What would you collaborate on? We've kind of
Undead.
done that.
Undead.
Yeah, I
Undead.
guess we'll all
Undead.
make some undead.
Undead females, ladies, women, damn it,
women. We're teaching to.
Because we'll have to make their
Hey.
skeletons look slightly different.
Any
Exactly.
plans to supply?
They'd be underboob armor.
Maybe
On
bears, but
skeleton.
I feel good.
Skeleton
Any plans
underboob
to
armor.
supply game stores? I currently supply game stores, so if you would like to, give me an email and we'll get it sorted.
Yeah.
Especially when I've got the what was Ristal's train and now Bad Squiddo train coming out. Yes, send me
Finally
an email.
accepted it's
Do you
yours.
run
I
a
was good
game
there,
store,
yeah.
Tim? If so, talk to me.
Do you supply game stores? Die Hard
Not
Waitress?
yet. Not yet.
Do you have plans to?
If they approach me,
Do it.
yeah, do it.
But you
yeah.
crack on.
I do need to get into retail.
Yes.
That was the last thing I sculpted. It's on a ruler.
Oh, there was a question from Jacob. What are you sculpting?
That was the last thing I sculpted.
That guy who died.
And then I'm doing mushroom people.
What are you currently sculpting? We've already done the
Yeah,
current
no,
sculpts. Yeah.
I'm scrolling.
Someone picked up my last meal.
Toad in the hole. I
Oh,
like
I love a bit of sausage.
you
Steady
should.
on, sir.
On the subject of epic, what would you like to see come back in fashion? In Wargame, that is.
Well,
Oh, wow, we're well
assuming
down.
Titanicus has done better than, well, as well as they
They've
wanted
brought a lot
to,
of stuff back, haven't they?
we'd
So-
like to see all the other races, of course.
Yeah.
Because Epic was great. And
I'm too young. I don't know what needs to be brought back. 'cause I
And I've
wasn't
still
there.
got loads of Tyranids, but they're too small a scale, I suppose, because they've increased it for Titanicus.
Mm.
What
Which
would
is
you like
fine.
to see back?
Kills the third-party market.
I would say Space Hulk, but obviously since I used to play Space Hulk, the original, they've brought it twice back.
But
Yeah.
it's just been the core set.
Limited edition.
Nice models,
Yeah.
tweaked rule set,
Yeah.
but not the extra bits.
Yeah.
Doodle-doo.
They came
Oh,
up
Craig
on
sent you
Facebook
his fiver in the post.
earlier.
That's why Rampant series is popular. You have an army, but not a stupid number of figures. Yes, definitely. I am a fan of the Lion and Dragon Rampant. Can you make a Haunted Zoo collection? Which I did scroll, and someone had mentioned that Phil Hines from Bear's Head has done some very good undead animals. You've done an undead bear,
Yes,
which is very good. I did like that guy.
It was Game of Thrones.
Inspired.
I remember at the
inspired.
time, yeah.
Yeah.
That was such a good scene, though.
It's
And you got the
it was
hound
There's
just
that
like,
guy that's cool.
absolutely
It's on
awesome.
fire!
I want to save him, but it's on fire. I don't want to save him. Yeah.
That is like the Magnificent Seven.
It was
that
awesome.
whole-
I tried to get stills of that bear, and I could hardly get the right stills. And then in the end,
Just do a bear.
I just went with the polar
yeah.
bear. with
Gurgled
rotting.
undead bear.
Yeah, and it looks so cool.
Yes.
And it's the only resin we do. For
And it was
Dark
so
Knight.
relevant at the time because everyone suddenly went, I need an undead bear.
Yeah.
And
And you were like,
I'm
I'm
Here you go. I
yeah.
still have castings.
That's
so
how you keep
if
on
want
top of
some,
trends.
Go for it.
And yeah, as well as Tim's undead bear, Phil Hines does he does like undead pigs and
Ooh.
horses.
I
And
do
a
skelly
very
bits as well.
nice.
I've done a skelly wolf and a skelly saber tooth. I think that's as many.
Undead is the range that keeps on giving.
It is. Yeah, even after the dead.
Well, I think we
Oh,
should
yes.
explore this undead females.
Yes.
No!
With an underboob
in the
armor.
memes.
I like it.
Craig says Pirates of the Dread Seas will be out soon from the guys who did Across the Dead Earth, which is a small
Awesome.
independent producer, and
Yes.
they're very nice people. So
we
that
had,
is
we had
interesting.
a bit of a play of that.
Black Ark.
Is there a PC game for Man of War? Man o' War, rather. Man of War. Has been quite formal. Do you know?
I
No.
feel there is,
But, yeah.
but my PC won't run anything made after 1999. so-
What scale would your naval fantasy be in, Ross? True scale.
Belly fluff scale.
It's a relevant question because there's no
Every time I see someone mention naval war games.
there's no default scale for naval war games that I'm aware of.
There will
Fantasy,
be some disagreements.
fantasy naval war games. Is that Curtis? That's Curtis.
It's
there.
Curtis is there. Hi, Curtis. We'll see you
Curtis,
tomorrow.
Curtis.
Anyone doing fantasy naval will think back to war, Man o' War,
Man o' War.
what scale was that? Whatever scale that was. The only the game I've played since was Uncharted Seas, which Spartan Games did, but they never quite maximised on it. What's the word for that?
Full potential.
Yeah,
Oh.
they kept jumping to the next game,
Hmm.
and then don't want to say anything bad about them. Never quite saw the full potential of that.
It's in the background.
But Warcradle have taken it on, so hopefully.
That is my collar.
Is there a curtain in the background, or does Tim have an amazing collar
Yeah.
that Ming the Merciless?
I-
That is Tim's collar.
It is.
There
it
is no
Look,
curtain.
I move and the curtain moves as well.
Oh, I've got no
Ish.
curtain.
Pull it.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. He came to the door earlier, and it kind of wouldn't get through the
It's
door.
more a
like-
Priscilla of the Queen of the
Yeah,
Desert kind
like,
of
why would
thing.
you?
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, so someone knows there's a Man of War game.
Yeah.
Oh.
I just think
Yeah. Oh, Paul Baldwin's here as well. We're losing some people. We're down to 21.
Uh-oh.
I do think there's
Tell your
a gap in
friends,
the
tell
market
your
for that,
neighbours.
and Warcradle currently have the monopoly on it if they do the Uncharted Seas thing.
Yeah.
But there was a Kickstarter called Gravetides, and I think they might be expanding into other stuff because they did an Undead Fleet miniatures, and I think they've followed up with rules. It's something I fancy doing as an exercise in digital sculpting. Because sculpting boats with green stuff is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where the digital
Straight
really
line
comes
stuff,
into.
yeah,
Yeah,
straight
I
line
know
stuff's
people
a
that
bit-
do
But a lot of people
like
like-
weapons in digital.
Yeah, yeah,
when I
yeah,
start doing
yeah,
some artillery for the
Jody-
Soviets and stuff.
Jody was doing
Jody
a lot of his weapons in.
Seagull.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Really cool guy.
But
Nice
when I
artwork as
asked
well.
the potential market, they just said, we just want masts and flagpoles to replace them on our manor warships. So, yeah, that's not producing a new game, though, is it?
Mm.
We just want flagpoles.
Yeah.
Sorry, masts.
Any more
I've been
questions
corrected on
before
this.
we wrap things up? Get a couple more in, and we have been on for an hour and a half. So we should wrap it up soon.
Yeah,
So
before I need
We've not even started on the
we
meat,
haven't, but
to-
Got all this.
we could do that afterwards.
We could.
I don't want the quality to start degrading
We're
and,
sober.
and turning into my guess who I hate.
Yeah.
You know who else is an
Oh,
arsehole?
don't get me started. brother.
Human slaves.
Oh, Dale's
Hello.
just come. Hi, Dale.
What's Curtis said then?
Curtis just said hello.
Hello,
He
Curtis.
did. He said, hey.
You just ran the corner from us, Curtis.
Ross thinks we went past your house earlier, Curtis.
Had a red light on.
There was some dodgy casting fumes. Matt Canning, am I bringing booze to salute for you again? Yes, just a single booze, please, Matt.
Yeah,
Just one.
Just a single.
Just a
Bottle
single
of
barrel.
rum.
But it did save my life a little bit last year, and
Awesome.
the squid hat and the squid tentacles turned me from very sad to delirious. So that was good.
Oh, we got Dale.
Yeah, he's come late
Dale sells my trolls.
because there is that danger of us
Oh,
staying here
Dale.
forever, and
Well,
we should wrap up
Yeah.
soon.
there's still alcohol. It's all good.
Well,
Yeah.
no, because then it was going to end up like a 4-hour video, and no one will watch.
If this goes below 10, we should stop.
What?
Uh-oh, it's creeping that
It's
way.
going. Look.
Oh, no, it's back up.
Oh.
They're all going
We'll
to.
stay
If
on.
we all leave,
Oh,
they'll
stay.
stop.
Oh, we want
It's
to
gone up.
22.
It's gone up.
Oh,
No.
21, we're going
It's
now.
finished.
Oh,
Any more questions?
viral, I'm ready.
If you're newish, we have Tim Prow from Die Hard Miniatures, and me, Annie from Bad Squid Games,
Hurrah.
and Ross Whitehorn from Krakon Games,
Yay.
who's got various sculpts that have been appearing around the laptop, such as
Is that like
Should
a
have brought mine
prompt?
now.
Roper Fellow.
It's almost like you see my arm move it. Oh.
I remember playing Evercrack.
He's lost an arm.
And I was playing a dark
Now?
elf, and they were in this cave near to the home of the dark elves in Evercrack. Let's call it Evercrack. I lost
I think everyone did.
I lost about 2 years to that and a wife.
But it was worth
But it was worth it. It spurred me
I
on.
had a
to
similar
go
experience
to
with World
America.
of Warcraft.
Yeah, I went to America after that. My friend Chris Bledsoe in America, he was at Ralpartha, and he said, "Come to America," and I was like,
I'm glad I got the
"Oh,
right
wow."
person.
And it was awesome.
Hey.
I had 3 years in America. I worked at Ralpartha, then
Mr.
they turned into
Bridger.
WizKids. I worked for WizKids. Met some really nice sculptors over there. Had a really good time. Cincinnati, then Seattle, and then came home, and then carried on being freelance. So
We're not playing EverQuest anymore.
no, I started playing EverQuest 2 when I came back, but I played it within half a year. It was like, I've done it.
Yeah.
I've gone in the biggest guild. I've got the biggest sword. I've got the biggest armor. But it was awesome.
No, we gotta wait. I think we should wrap
I
up.
can't.
Oh, okay.
People are joining just as well.
I know, but they're joining too late. They could always
I
watch
must
it
have
back.
a huge bladder. The bladder is strong. Ask some questions, people.
Yeah, there's
Ask
always a lag as well. That's
questions.
the downside. I've never been to Nottingham, despite working for GW once. If I visit, what do you recommend? Caves.
Caves.
Have you been to the caves in Broadmarsh?
I believe so.
It's like a really
I used to
crappy
walk
shopping
past it.
centre,
Oh, God,
and then
yeah.
you go into the caves from there.
But the first Games Workshop used to be in the, well, maybe not the first Games, but the
One of
Nottingham
them.
one used to be downstairs from the caves. And
Downstairs from the caves.
Carl?
Oh, in the Broadmarsh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh.
And that's where, I mean, I used to paint figures for them, and then I got in touch with Workshop, and I eventually was in the studio, and which was just around the corner on Low Pavement Street.
Yes.
Yeah, Enfield Chambers. And that was really cool. Other places not to go for the real ale. Maybe on Castle Boulevard,
Many places.
or the Blue Monkey pub at the top of Kennington. think so. I guess.
The Torture Museum's quite good. I like
Torture
that.
Museum,
The
yeah.
Justice Museum.
Yeah.
Torture Museum.
Yeah, don't go drinking in the centre of town because it's just full of trenders. Just go around it.
What if you're a trendy person?
Then
There's lots. There's so many places in
you'll
town.
like them.
There's
You'll
quite a
like
lot
in
of
town
those
then.
little
Yeah,
back alley
perfect.
things as well.
Oh.
I haven't got beaten in town yet. Or shot.
But you're not a trendy. What's that?
Why not?
You're not really? Do you want to be a trendy?
I don't know. Isn't that a good thing?
No. When I was young, there were trenders.
Oh,
and
yeah,
they called me a greb. And,
I was a
the
grab
grebs
and a
goths
gotho,
and
yeah.
metalheads and stuff. The trip is
Trip.
good.
It is
Yeah, it's
Green
nice.
King. That's the town
Ooh,
side.
yeah,
Yeah.
tricky. If
But
you
it's a
want
nice
real ale,
place.
Yeah, the Sal as
The
well is quite
halloumi's
nice.
really good. The halloumi, deep fried. Oh.
Go to Memsab, nice Indian.
Yes.
A little expensive, but nice.
Next to Memsab is the Calcutta Club, which is
Yes,
even nicer.
I've been told about that.
They were the original people, from what I've been told.
Yeah. They
Um,
split,
that-
didn't they?
Yeah, they
it's always the
sold
way.
Memsab
Mm.
to some other people and then set up next door.
Mm.
So they're
Go to
the
Beeston.
original Memsab.
Go to Beeston. That's
Yes,
where I
I
live at
think
the
we
moment.
should wrap it all up. Thank you, everyone who has come along.
Good Matt.
Um,
He's not trendy.
yes, let's go.
Awesome.
I need to sit backwards. My back's.
There's a couple of hearts. I love it.
Oh,
Send
that's
more
nice.
hearts. Send hearts. Send hearts.
That's just me.
Oh, let me feel the toilet.
But we've got 21 people.
Yeah, I know, but
it's crazy.
it's okay.
There's 22 people.
We don't want to
watching
be on
this.
for 4 hours. I need to sit backwards.
4 hours.
Yeah.
I need to trump.
There's
There's 23 people. I can't trump into
Right.
23
Thank you, everybody who has come along.
Yes, thank you very much.
If you had fun
We'll do
doing
this again. Yeah,
this
I'd
is
love
really
it.
fun.
Yeah.
And if you
I
guys
was
think it's
scared,
fun,
and now I don't
yes,
care.
you have had a considerable amount of rum.
More rum.
So yes.
Yeah.
Oh, they're doing the hearts.
Look
for
at
you.
the hearts!
Oh.
Hearts! Bring me hearts! And have
Uncle,
smiley faces.
Uncle.
If you had fun, Ross.
Uncle.
Was that
Do you
angry
both want to be
face?
on Bad Squiddo television again?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Definitely.
I need more this time.
Yeah.
Yay,
So I've got to
angry
basically
face.
bribe you. But there was an angry
There
face.
was.
Ah! No.
Don't go!
No.
That's saying don't
No,
go.
it's not. It's saying this
That's
sucks.
saying, why is
I've
you
wasted
drinking?
an hour
Why is you
45.
drinking
Why are you
lager?
drinking Heineken?
I've
Bring
run
more
out of
rum
Guinness.
next time.
Right, we're
More rum.
ready.
Yeah.
We're gonna go.
Do it. In
Anything
3,
else you need to tell?
two-
Tell anyone?
No, I don't think so. We'll see you at
Thank
Salute.
you. We'll see you at Salute.
We'll see you at Robin tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow in
Krakon.
12
Oh,
hours.
Kathleen has
Few
just
hours.
came. Sorry, Kathleen, we're leaving.
Yay.
But after
Ask a
this,
question,
you'll
as
be
we'll
able,
go.
no,
Yes,
you'll be able to watch it back. We're going. We're just
Question.
brandishing my thing.
One.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. It was a
Wave.
pleasure.
Wave.
Wait.
Oh,
This way.
the shock
Wave that
face.
way.
No. Oh, more shock faces.
What's ready?
Hello.
End.